So first of all, good morning, and thank you all for having me here. I appreciate being part of the community. You'll have to excuse my voice. There was too big a gap between football season and wrestling season. My boys wrestle at Churchill Middle School. They play football there. They had their first wrestling match on Tuesday night, and I'm an old wrestler from way back when. So yeah, so my voice is about going. So again, like Corky said, I am Sergeant First Class Brett Rodefer. I am the Readiness NCO for HHT, or Headquarters and Headquarters Troop, 4th Squadron 278th ACR, out of Mount Carmel, Tennessee. So I do a lot of the same jobs that Sergeant Curley does in Rogersville. I just do them in Mount Carmel. But because we're the squadron headquarters, we do have some additional responsibilities, right? We're going to take care of our deco guys out here in Rogersville and Clinton. Plus we have the umbrella of the units we have in Sweetwater, Tennessee, Newport, Tennessee, and Greenville, Tennessee as well. So we still handle the administrative tasks, pay, orders, schools, travel, all the things, right? We do coordinate with Corky and several other agencies and organizations like hers to try to take care of our soldiers while they're gone. As Corky mentioned, right, we do have one task force that is currently deployed to the Middle East right now, or is deploying to the Middle East right now. We have one task force that's actually here on the ground in the 5 counties, right? And when I say the 5 counties, that's Carter, Unicoi, Washington, Greene, and Cott County. And a lot of the counties that we're starting to draw down a little bit, right, Sheriff? I think Greene County, we kind of scaled way back. I think maybe we got one engineer crew that's out there with you guys. We've got 2 or 3 engineer crews with me in Washington County. There's still a crew in Washington and Carter, in the Roan Mountain area. Also, we still have some assets that are working in Unicoi County in response for Hurricane Helene. So for about the last 3.5 weeks, I've been working in the Washington County, Tennessee EOC, or Emergency Operations Center, with their emergency management staff, the mayor of Washington County, Washington County Sheriff's Office, a lot of good folks, a lot of things that I don't think anybody in this area expected or anticipated that we would see, right? You don't get hurricanes in Northeast Tennessee, Southwest Virginia very often, right? I've lived in this area for 37 of my 42 years. I think this is the first hurricane that I've seen up here, right? I've seen tornadoes, right? We've had a couple of those. And the devastation that we've seen in this area. I've done other floods and stuff in the past, right? Hornacre, Virginia, Grundy, Part 2, right? When they finally moved to the other side of the river. Some of you guys probably remember that. But I'd spent 4 months in New Orleans, right outside of New Orleans, for Hurricane Katrina. And what I've seen in these areas, right, between Unicoi County, Washington County specifically, and a little bit of Carter County that I've seen, it's worse than what we saw at Hurricane Katrina and down in New Orleans. Simply because there's just nowhere for the water to go, right? When you put that volume of water through river valleys, there's a lot of destruction, a lot of force, and everybody kind of underestimates the power of water. So you guys can take that metaphor however you want. But there's the amount of force, the amount of power that came from what rushed through the river valleys is pretty incredible. So with that, I know there's a lot of businesses, a lot of volunteer agencies and stuff in the room right now. If you guys are still in the business of, hey, how can we help? Right? Food stores, water stores, stuff like that, they're good. Right? There's so much of that stuff that nobody knows where to put it. Bristol Motor Speedway is opening up like extra parts of the racetrack right now to try to find where to store food and water. Clothing, right? As we're all aware, right, it's the 3rd week in October, which means winter will be here by 9, 10 o'clock tonight. It'll be fall by 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. Spring by lunch, by 2 o'clock it's summer, right? And it's winter again by the time it gets dark. I can tell you that, at least from my experience in Washington County, there's about 200 folks or 200 homes, right? So about 200 people, right? 200 homes that don't exist anymore, right? And these are mothers, fathers, children, their grandparents, they're all of the things. So winter clothes, coats, blankets, socks, gloves, hats, toboggans, those kind of things. Propane heaters, kerosene heaters, things of those nature. Those are the things that are really needed right now. There's a couple companies out there, Appalachian Service Project. I know specifically for Washington County, I got it. I'm in Hawkins County, and I appreciate you guys giving me a voice today. But Appalachian Service Project has volunteered to build 200 homes in Washington County. So that's going to clean up most of what's been completely destroyed, right? It's a long process. So if you guys are in the mood to donate, or if you're still looking for an outlet to help, that's the outlet to help. And it's not just Washington County, right? That's all 5 counties. I know Hamlin County got a little bit of the wind damage, I think. I think that was mostly around the lake. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me, but I think that's fairly accurate. Cott County got hit pretty hard. I know Greene County, Sheriff, I think you guys had quite a bit of damage, maybe not as much residential.
Yeah, Sheriff Hull's still working on all that. It's pretty bad over there. With water.
The Washington County area, the problem with that is if you know anything about Washington County, right, it's all old mining communities have been there since the early 1800s, but they're all right there on the river. And so everything along that river valley is what's been damaged. So enough about that. For me, as far as my involvement here in Washington County, we do the same thing that Sergeant Curley does in, Hawkins County. Thanks, Corky.
You're welcome.
We offer the same stuff that they do in Rogersville, right? We have a very large facility there, so we do rentals as well for you guys. We've done some of the big craft fairs. I know we have a very large career fair that we're planning in February-ish, March-ish, with the recruiters. We're going to try to get the high school juniors and seniors, so within, say, an hour's radius of Mount Carmel. So Cherokee High, Volunteer High, Dobbins Bennett, even I think out into Morristown. Maybe Morristown. It's not Morristown West anymore, is it? It's Morristown Hamlin. Is that what they call it now? Used to be Morristown East, Morristown West. I know they kind of changed the.
No, I think it's still the same.
They still call them that? Because I know I've seen them labeled as like Morristown Hamlin, and then there's something else. So I think we're even looking at going out as far as the Morristown High Schools to bring those in as well. So if that's something that you guys are interested in, please reach out either through Corky, or you can reach out to me directly at Mount Carmel. We can get you on the list if that's something that you're interested in. But
can you talk about Kuwait too?
sure. So as Corky mentioned, and I kind of alluded to it a little bit, we do have a task force right now that's currently, they're still stateside, they're still in their train up mode, but they're getting ready to head to Kuwait for Operation Spartan Shield. Some of those soldiers will stay in Kuwait, some of those soldiers won't stay in Kuwait. They'll go to some other locations throughout the Middle East. And some of those folks, may or may not be in harm's way. If you guys are, doing the care package with Corky and her folks, those things are, having been deployed a couple times myself to the Middle East, those things are always very, very welcome. You never know what you're going to get when you get over there, what type of resources or facilities, or how nice the exchange is going to be when you get overseas. So I've been on the fruitful side of the exchange, and then I was there in 2011 when we were closing everything out in Iraq, and the PXs were ghost towns, right? The shelves were empty, and they actually stopped using those about 2 months before before we left theater. So please donate or sponsor, however you guys do that with Corky. And as soon as I get APOs, those mailing addresses, you've already got them?
No.
Not yet?
I just have the list.
Okay,
But
so
not
as
yet.
soon as I get those APO addresses, those forward mailing addresses in the Middle East, then we'll get those to Corky. You guys can get those things out.
And a lot of the soldiers that are with you, what are their professions?
So we actually have a pretty wide variety of soldiers. At Mount Carmel, again, we're the headquarters element. So we have medics, we have communication specialists, we have intelligence specialists, right? Military intelligence. It's an oxymoron. We have scouts, so we have reconnaissance guys. We have maintainers. We have mechanics. We've got one tanker. He doesn't drive a tank. He drives a truck, which is weird. I don't know. I don't make the rules. I just have to make sure they get followed. And then, of course, we have our mechanics and our distribution guys, and you got your big truck drivers, right? They make sure that all the beans, bullets, fuel, water. Curly, what else you guys got, man? You guys got fuelers, right? So if it keeps us running, Sergeant Curley and his guys in Rogersville, right? They make sure that it gets to us. And then of course we have the very large reconnaissance operation that happens for our down trace folks, which are in. Who's my guy? You're my guy, right? Greenville, Newport. You don't go as far as Sweetwater.
Right.
That's kind of no man's land for us up there on the other side of Knoxville. But those guys are also very important to us as well. I've rambled about as long as you guys want me to ramble. Again, I do thank you all for having me here and giving me the opportunity to speak and meet you guys. It is truly appreciated.
One question. If we wanted to donate clothes and stuff like that, is there a way to do that through you, or do you know who we should contact?
So if you're wanting to donate, right, my recommendation for you is if it's going to be Washington County, Carter County, Greene County, it doesn't matter what county it is, right, contact the EMA, right, the Emergency Management Authority? Agency. The Emergency Management Agency, right, for each county. Those are the folks that know the know, right? And they're gonna tell you exactly where to direct that to.
Okay.
Right? Please don't listen to the rumors. Okay? That's the biggest thing that I can stress about all the stuff that's going on in our local counties. Right? Don't listen to the rumors. Right? FEMA's not stealing anybody's land. Right? They're not coming to your house and stealing your children and putting them on a Cessna. I say that and everybody laughs, but I did read that. Somebody put that on social media. Okay? They're not stealing your land. They're not going to these distribution centers and stealing your supplies. We are moving things from distribution centers because there's so much. Right? The outpouring of love and assistance from the local communities, right? Northeast Tennesseans helping Northeast Tennesseans. It's been unreal to watch this unfold. Okay, nobody's taking the supplies. Right, we're just moving them to the racetrack because they've got all that room to store them and we don't. Okay, but if you want to donate those things, contact the EMA, right, the Emergency Management Agency for the local county that you want to donate to, and they will point you in the direction of what is needed and where it needs to go.
Are you also isn't there another deployment that's going to be happening out of your location in the near
Yes,
future?
so we do have, we've got another task force of folks. It's called the Joint Multinational Training Group Europe, or JMTGE. It's going to be a much smaller task force than what's going to Kuwait, but we are going to Germany next year to do some training for some Eastern European soldiers that we are NATO partnered or NATO friends with, right? Without getting any type of specifics like that. So we're going to work with some of their senior officers and senior NCOs and kind of help mold and shape their military at their request. So, and there is one more Kuwait deployment coming up. That's most of our Texas guys, but some of our folks here in East Tennessee may be impacted by that sometime
That's
later
well
next year.
known.
Yep, and you guys will know that when it happens. Alrighty?
All right.
Any other
Thank you.
questions?